Carroll bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
Hello, I'm Phil Catchpole and welcome to another episode of Ringing the Blues. Coming up on this week's show, we've got all the action and reaction from 2 trips to Yorkshire, plus we have the opposition view.
What a bunch of Tripe Hounds.
And I also catch up with the Wycombe Wanderers chairman, Rob Kuhig, following his email to season ticket holders this week.
I mean, if we didn't expect to stay, why did we bother to go up?
But first, let's head to Mexico City to speak to Uri and find out what the results were in the championship.
We are ringing the blues from Mexico City. My name is Uri and here are the results for the Championship League. Nottingham Forest 0, Bournemouth 0, Birmingham City 0, Luton Town 1, Cardiff City 3, Coventry City 1, Derby County 2, Middlesbrough 1, Huddersfield Town 2, Wycombe Wanderers 3, Norwich City 4, Stoke City 1, Reading 1, Millwall 2, Watford 6, Bristol City 0. What a great win. We were 2-0 down and it was epic. So this time for Cherboy Spanish, it is The Great Escape. Okay, great, grande or gran. Escape, escape. El Gran Escape, The Great Escape, El Gran Escape. And also, I would like to congratulate my amigo Phil Catchpole because Ringing the Blues has been nominated for Best Club Podcast for the 2nd year in a row. So, hopefully we will win and we will keep on winning next weeks. See you next time. Until next week. And sending back my microphone to my amigo Phil Catchpole in England. Adios.
So on Tuesday night, Wycombe made the trip to Hillsborough to take on Sheffield Wednesday in the snow. Here's what happened.
I'm sure there's going to be rotation in the squad again. The schedule is mental, but every player I've got is capable, and I'm going to make sure that we put a strong performance in against Sheffield Wednesday. We need to go up there and put in a strong performance. It's just that final bit of quality and eradicating the mistakes at the back. I know what the problem is, but I've said it game after game, you know.
Back to Reach controls, looks up, dinks it into the box, goes over Tafazzoli, Harris, again to the back post of Patterson, it's Rhodes, Jordan Rhodes opens the scoring, unmarked, edge of the 6-yard box, Kadeem Harris just cushioned it up to him and he's flicked it into the bottom corner past Ryan Alsop, and Rhodes loves a goal against the Chairboys, and he's done it again. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Wycombe Wanderers 0. Kadeem Harris, corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. Steps over away from Fred, gets a chance for a shot, it's charged down, drops in again, and it's into the back of the net. It's a deflected strike, and it's Adam Reach. Kadeem Harris with the initial shot, charged down, it dropped down to Reach, whose left-footed shot went through a crowd of players, deflected, and into the back of the net. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Wycombe Wanderers 0. Gareth, 6 changes tonight, a lot of effort again, but sadly another defeat without scoring.
Yeah, disappointing again. I thought we looked more aggressive, but again we failed really to register anything on the opposition's goal. We had a couple, I think 2 or 3 on target today, but the boys are giving everything. It's tough. It is tough, and it was a tough pitch to play on. It was a difficult night, but mistakes again have cost us, especially for the second goal. I think I can point fingers at people, and we will do behind closed doors. I don't think we were helped again by some decisions, but again, I've talked too much about this, everyone could say that. So, no, I'm looking forward to Saturday now. Again, we had some fresh legs, Uchi didn't want to burn him out. Bale got a start. He's got a cash, get back in, look very lively. Dal Horgan, his combination with Danis Mehmeti in the first half, which didn't result in a spot kick for us, is bewildered me again. But no, we'll have to pick ourselves up now because we're going to another trip up to Yorkshire on Saturday.
I was going to ask about the Mehmeti incident. It was a lovely counter-attack, and you've given Anis Mehmeti a few chances this season. Is it a case of now blooding him in and perhaps using these games in the run-up to the end of the season to kind of really get him to find his feet as a Wycombe player?
Listen, without a doubt, I want to go for it, Phil. I want to make sure we go for games, and I don't want to sit back and let teams just beat us. We're going to learn plenty about our squad. We're going to learn plenty about our team and the oppositions and the championship. I want to learn. I want to use this. This is a learning experience rather than going out there expecting to get beat every week. We're going for it. We're trying different things, and it's a tough league like we always knew. But no, I'm pleased. Somebody like Anis playing Championship football is fantastic for him, and benefit from that, as well as Admiral and Nandi off the ball, getting games. So we've got some young boys here getting plenty of experience, and Anthony Stewart came and did really well again. Tafazzoli did well, so some bright spots without a doubt. But yeah, one or two mistakes which frustrate me, and a bit of a lack of quality at times in certain areas. But again, the boys give me their best. I can't ask for any more, and we go again on Saturday.
Had the game kicked off at 7:45, do you think you'd have been able to complete it? The weather really came in at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, but no, I think it would. It's a fantastic place to be, isn't it? And the pitch is in good nick, so it's one of those nights. But we'll make sure we're competitive again Saturday.
And finally, Gareth, 12 points adrift at the bottom of the table now. Is it a case of not looking at the table and just sort of heads down and getting that next result in?
Listen, absolute game by game. Game by game. Let's see how many points we can get from now to the end of the season, and how many good performances. That's really important. Like I say, we have long-term plans here, and we're really looking forward to seeing how many points we can get from now to the 8th of May.
So, a tough game on Tuesday night and a long journey back for the squad from snowy Yorkshire. Wycombe fans are getting a bit down after the recent run of form in the league. So Rob Couhig, the Wycombe Wanderers chairman, wrote to season ticket holders on Friday. He explained that he fully expects the club to be in the Championship next year. He said with 19 games to go, there are plenty of opportunities to make up the necessary points. And he admitted that the last couple of weeks hadn't been as much fun as he anticipated. Rob also went on to explain that he wasn't interested in hearing about how great it is for Wycombe to be playing in the Championship. He felt that we're here because we deserve it, and he found it easier not being consumed with the history or status of other clubs to have this viewpoint. He said the time for sightseeing is over. He also outlined that Gareth and Dobbo have more job security than any other managers in professional football. He finished his statement by saying, "We have 19 games left. We have to cover a bit of ground. It will be done. Hang on and believe. It's going to be fun." You can hear a full interview with Wycombe chairman Rob Couhig later on in the show. We talk all about that statement, plus we also touch on the fact the EFL are having to scrap their salary cap and squad size plans for next season. But before that, Wycombe had another trip to Yorkshire to take on Huddersfield. It was the first of those 19 games that Rob spoke about. Was it going to be more fun? Let's find out. Back to Vallejo, looks up, right-footed, chips it towards the back post, looking towards Campbell. Campbell gets up, and the ball is in the back of the net. We await the flag, and it hasn't come. Janino Bacuna has opened the scoring. Campbell peeled off at the back post, heads it into the edge of the 6-yard area, and Bacuna, almost in slow motion, heads it past a helpless Ryan Alsop. It's Huddersfield 1, Wycombe 0. Isaac and Benza, edge of the area, left-hand side, goes for goal, and it's 2-0 to Huddersfield Town. Isaac and Benza with the left-footed shot. He danced onto his left-hand side, found the yard for the shot and drilled it past Ryan Alsop. And with 5 minutes to go to half-time, it's Huddersfield 2, Wycombe Wanderers 0. Edge of the area, and Mehmeti still going. Left-footed strike into the bottom corner, and Wycombe are back in this. And it's Anis Mehmeti's second of the season. Left-footed from the edge of the penalty area. A great finish by the youngster. And it's Huddersfield 2, Wycombe 1. Ikpeazu on the left, going down the wing, keeps it going, still going Ikpeazu, and he's bundled over, and Wycombe have a penalty. Ikpeazu is fouled by a hog. Jacobson scores, goes down the middle, Schofield went to his right, and Wycombe are level here, having trailed 2-0. Joe Jacobson from the penalty spot. Huddersfield 2, Wycombe 2. Tafazolli heads into the box again. It drops down to Knight. Knight on the outside, left-footed, and Wycombe have a third. And Josh Knight, with his second of the season, has completed a remarkable comeback for Wycombe Wanderers on 86 minutes. The knockdown was from Tafazolli. It was poked by Horgan to Knight. Knight on his left-hand side puts it on the deck into the bottom corner. And it's Huddersfield 2, Wycombe 3. Gareth, that win must feel absolutely massive. It's just 3 points, but that must feel like a massive win.
Do you know what, Phil? I think we've had a bit of tough luck lately. You know, we should have had this, we should have had that. We should have had anything today. We deserved it today, and I'm so proud of the boys. They really stepped on Huddersfield in the second half. A Huddersfield team that are, struggling themselves with form a little bit. And I wanted to step on them. I wanted to step on them from the start, and we gave them a little bit too much respect early on. We let them pop the ball about, which they're good at. You're going to let any team in the Championship pop the ball about, they'll do it. But to step on, to be brave, to leave him 2-on-2 at the back at times because our fullbacks had gone in and, we stopped the way they wanted to play out. I thought the boys were magnificent. Every single person who's travelled, not just the 11 who started, everyone played their part. Alex Samuel, who's a sub, said before the game, let's write this story, boys. And that's the first page done, I think. That's a fantastic win. And like I say, we keep playing like that. Who knows? But I'm proud. I asked for battlers. I asked for fight. I asked for you never say die, running and everything that you'd expect from us. And almost it was like, right, we are where we are. Let's go for it. Let's have a go. What we got to lose? And that looked like that second half. Then we deserved to win. So it wasn't a fluke. We could have been 4 or 5. And I'm really pleased with the boys today.
6 changes for the second time in a week and 5 across the back, something that Wycombe fans wouldn't have seen very often at all over the last few years. But the system really worked, didn't it?
Yeah. It might not have exactly been 5 across the back. So we threw a few curveballs in there. I'll let everyone who watches the game suss out what we played. But it was a system that we haven't played. It was personnel we haven't played. Do you know what? I know I'm being guilty of changing my team up quite a bit this year. Injuries, yes, but also you're trying to find a combination that works, and I know consistency is key. So it's hard. The top teams can keep the winning team week in, week out. The bottom teams, you have to change because players are on your door saying, one for a while, when's I get my chance? And so it was some difficult decisions today, but that's my job, and I think that, at the end of the day, everyone played their part, no matter who you played or you started or you travelled or whatever. It's Wycombe Wanderers together. We win, lose and draw together, and that will always be that way on the menu.
Rob Couhig made a statement to season ticket holders this week saying he fully expects Wycombe to be in the Championship, and he also backed you and Dobbo as well. Did that statement have much of an effect on your preparation this week?
No, me and Rob speak more than anyone would think. We speak a lot, even though he's in New Orleans. We have a lot of contact. We have a lot of discussion. He's a great guy to work for because obviously the backing he gives me, and I think he's well aware that what we've achieved at this club. But he wants to keep hold of it, and I don't blame him. I want to keep hold of it. I don't want to be at League One side next year. And everyone in the world, even after this result, will still say Wycombe will be going down. Well, let's see what happens. But they're going to fight. They're going to scrap. Whatever happens, we're going to go into every game swinging. Metaphorically, that is still not literally, and we will hopefully, upset a few teams and get some points and try and upset what everyone thinks is going to happen. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know we're going to be fighting, we're going to be scrapping, we're going to be running, and I've got great people behind me that want this club to win the Championship next year. That's all I ever want, and we'll see.
The gap's now 10 points after that win today. Your sort of post-matches after the last few defeats have alluded to the fact of a long-term strategy. Is the Great Escape on? Can you do it?
Of course we can, yeah. 18 games to go, yeah. There's ample points there, Phil, So if you tell me a team's done this before in history, it's doable. And of course they have. And, I've seen the tables, and teams have been 10 points adrift with 18 games to go and comfortably stayed up. Whether we can do it or not, it's down to me, the boys, the club, everybody involved, and we will give it a right go. I think giving it a go is the important thing. It's not whether we can do it or not, it's giving it a go. and that's going to be key. And if we can give this everything we've got, absolutely everything we've got, then I'll be a happy man, because I believe we do that every week, we will have a chance. I'm really, really proud of this club in the Championship. Listen, it's tough. Post-match interviews aren't great, you know, when you're on losing streaks. And like I said, game by game. OK, we've won this one today. Put it to bed. We've got Derby Tuesday. Whole new kettle of fish. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do against them.
No Adebayo Akinfenwa in the squad today. Has he picked up a knock?
Bale's obviously carrying a knee injury. Has been for about 6 years now. So sometimes he just does, you know, just needs that little rest, and he needs that little, weekend off of a long trip to Huddersfield. Sat, at 90 degrees with his knees for 4 hours, and then sat in the coals again for however many minutes, and then gets probably 10 minutes at the end. Is it worth it for Bayo and his knees? We have to really look after him. We wouldn't be here for him. He knows that. I know that. He's one hell of a human being, and he's magnificent for Wycombe Wanderers. But today, I'm sure he'll be smiling as much as anyone back home. It's a great win. It's a top club. This. I mean, they were talking about how they've got to cut everything next year if they survive in the Championship, and it just shows where we are, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant to do this. We're going to be fighting, and I love fighting, and I love this club being in the Championship. I want to make that happen next year.
Tell me how you felt at 2-0, because you made the changes coming into the game. You started the game fairly well, but at 2-0 after what's been quite a hard run, how did you feel at that point?
You don't feel great as a manager, but I also knew we weren't being torn apart. We conceded 2 poor goals again. There's a mistakes in both of them. And I think Bakuna's lucky in the first one. He runs in for the first cross, and he's totally offside, and he's offside for that first cross. But the cross eludes him and comes back in, and he's in a perfect position to knock it in. We've still got to be aware of him, but there's a little bit of luck went against us. Second goal, we can stop higher up the pitch, and we can stop closer to our box as well. But he's put it in the only place where he could have finished, and that's why he's a top player and in a lot of money in Huddersfield's team. But let's talk about the way we got back into it and some of the performances. I thought Pizzi was unplayable at times. I really did. He's coming from strength to strength. Darryl Forgan, fantastic game. 90 minutes, and Gareth Cleary ran himself into the ground. So, and that back, whatever you want to call it, it was a 2 at times. It was Tafazzoli and Anthony Stewart left because we committed that high to try and stop Huddersfield playing out. They were awesome. They won everything, and I've got some real workhorses in midfield. So I'm really, really proud. Got a good squad. Looking forward to seeing what we can do on Tuesday, game by game.
And finally, Anis Mehmeti, a fantastic performance from him as well, and the goal that really changed momentum at such a crucial part of the game.
So important, going in at half-time 2-0 or 2-1 makes such a difference, and Anis just pops up there with a great left-footed strike. He's going to be one hell of a player, and we're lucky to have him at Wycombe Wanderers. Obviously B-team graduate who's probably progressed in a microwave rather than a slow-cooked oven, because he's right into the first team, and he's securing his place, and he's deserving his place. And 2-footed young boy, got a lot to learn. But the likes of Bloomfield and Thompson and what great mentors to learn off. So he's going to be special. But again, we're going to make sure he's not exposed to too much early on. But keeps playing like this, he's going to be in the team.
So then, a great comeback for the Chairboys leaves Huddersfield Town still winless in the league since the 29th of December. After the game, their fans weren't happy. Here's what they had to say. ACW.
Anyone who thinks we are not deep in a relegation battle is utterly deluded.
East Mids Terrier.
I still don't think this will define our season, but facts are facts. 2-0 up to 2-3 behind at home against the bottom of the table side. Players need to take a long look at themselves.
Leeds Road Rob.
I think this is a set of players who are missing a round booing from a full stadium. What a bunch of Tripe Hounds.
Otium.
We have spaffed 200 million quid and now have a team worth less than a second-hand toothbrush. Recruitment is awful. Wycombe's budget for this season is 4 to 5 million.
Stiggy.
No win in 2 months and losing at home to the worst team in recent championship history. I'd like to see the happy clappers defend this.
Ambry boy.
Fair play, Wycombe. You deserve that. We'll see you at Adams Park next season.
Impact.
We were terrible second half. But Keith Stroud has given them a penalty for a dive and missed a very clear pen for us. Time and time again, we get absolutely nothing from him.
Mooney.
Wycombe were so much better than us and should have had 4 or 5 goals. Town's performance was awful, but Wycombe took full advantage and totally deserved the win. Oh, there would have been some ugly scenes at full time if fans were in ground.
Wigster.
Their big striker isn't a footballer in a million years. And yet, he caused us more problems than Campbell has caused opposition teams all season. I'm not even sure that's an exaggeration.
Craig Addy.
Our team have been absolutely robbed this afternoon of a well-deserved booing off.
Keith A.M.
I'm off to a darkened room with some cucumber slices, a bottle of rum and some cheesy Wotsits.
Narinder Singh.
Has Bakuna stopped rolling yet?
So, as promised, here's the interview with Wycombe chairman Rob Couhig. I spoke to him not long after the Huddersfield game, and I asked him what he thought of the match.
Missy and I were talking. It's a great analogy for what we hope for the season. We dug ourselves a hell of a hole after the first 7 games. But if you come back, that's all that matters.
Right, Rob, so this statement that came out the other day, I mean, you can almost claim an assist for this victory, can't you? Because it's been a big change in the recent run of form.
Oh, I don't know about all that. I just, it's everybody. I'm not a believer in excuses. I don't excuse myself when I make a mistake. I take responsibility. And I just, I have a great working relationship with Gareth and Davo and Pete and Andrew. And I just thought the fans, particularly those people who have put up their money, ought to know what our position was. And so, hopefully it helped a little bit. But I don't really believe much in all of that. I think that what wins a match is how the players play. Having some 70-year-old guy exonerate them or excoriate them doesn't make much difference. What matters is how they play, and they played fantastic.
Now, Rob, on that statement, you said that you'd come to the realisation that you had failed the club by not forcefully articulating your expectations for the season. I mean, you've always been fairly optimistic with me and the other fans by saying that, you expect Wycombe to stay up in the Championship. Do you think that we perhaps maybe, with our sort of British cynicism, just thought, oh, that's just an optimist? But, talk to me about what's made you make that statement. Why do you think you failed the club in that way?
Well, I think I fell into the same habit a lot of our fans fell into, which is getting sort of impressed with ourselves that, my gosh, look at us. We're in the Championship. And I was reminded as a young lawyer when I had a huge case against a guy who had been practicing law 40 years. And there was a temptation on my part to talk about, oh, my gosh, I'm going against Mr. Smith, who's been doing it forever and has a great reputation. And my client told me he wasn't paying me for my for anything other than my performance. He didn't care who I was going against. I better win the case. And I realized I have an obligation to this club, to these players, to Gareth, to Dabo, the whole staff, to make sure they understand we're in this thing to produce real results. And so that led to a conversations I had with Andrew, with Pete, Dabo, and Gareth all individually and then combined. And I just felt like it was as good a time as any to make sure everybody knows you can't be afraid of success. And you can't be afraid of setting the bar high and going for it. You know, it's our time.
And obviously your relationship with Gareth and Dobbo and the players and everyone, that can be quite a private thing. But, I mean, what was the nature of those? Was it a heated conversation or was it a sort of a sit-down, quite rational chat?
Well, for one thing, unlike every other conversation I've ever had of similar nature, I wasn't able to sit in an office or on a couch and look them in the eye. You're doing it over Zoom. It was very rational. There was no raising of voices or anything like that. Everybody's kind of gotten to know me a little bit. They've gotten to know me better over the past month. But it's, and again, I don't want to make the excuse of I'm 4,500 miles away. But in their defense, I think it's been hard for them to judge me because you get it on a conversation or two, not on a everyday stuff. You know, last year, Phil, I used to have coffee with Gareth once, twice, 3 times a week when I was there 1 week a month. I've been there exactly once since I bought the club. So it's hard. And communication means a lot. And I'm in the communication business in my other trade, and I just felt like it was important for me to talk to these guys and communicate.
Since you and Pete and Mitzi have been involved in the club, it's been a tremendous success in terms of the promotion into the Championship. But you often really learn about people when things are going against you in terms of results, and this is your first sort of real sticky spell of results. A lot of Wycombe fans expected it to be difficult, though, in the Championship, but I sense there's a cultural difference between you and a lot of British and English and Wycombe fans in the fact that you are saying that you fully expect Wycombe to stay in the Championship. You really mean it, don't you?
I do. Why wouldn't we? I mean, if we didn't expect to stay, why did we bother to go up? You know, there are some things, Phil, I probably should have done earlier. You know, we went through a decision-making process about the type of squad we were going to field, and we were comfortable with the squad. But if you notice, we've incrementally changed the squad out, which was fair. But, yeah, and look, I don't think the cultural difference is necessarily British versus American. There are plenty of people in America who will tell you I am a resolute, realistic optimist in anything I attempt to do. That doesn't mean I win every time, but it means there's going to be a battle for me to win. And I ain't going down easy anytime.
And in that statement as well, you underlined your sort of commitment to Gareth and Dobbo and said that, you know, in terms of job security, they're more secure than any other managers in professional football. If Wycombe make a big fight of it, but they do end up in League One, you know, I'm guessing that stays the same?
Yes. Yeah. Look, one of the things I wanted to communicate to them is they don't have to worry about what about this, what about that. We are a team. The way I manage is I have Andrew and Pete working with them and the players and so recruiting of players and the like. I'm going to evaluate all of us, but I am totally satisfied with the team we have put together. If nobody screws up, and you know, in a way, and I'm not talking wins and losses, I'm talking about something that would be totally unforeseen, we're going to be here next year in the Championship. If something untoward happens and we're in League One, it's going to be the same group of us making sure we come right back up to the championship.
And I was really taken with your last sentence of that statement before today's game. We have 19 games left. We have to cover a bit of ground. It will be done. Hang on and believe. It's going to be fun. Well, it was almost prophetic because today was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Well, certainly the second half was more fun than the first, but yes. But even in the first half, if you notice, and again, I don't claim expertise on team play and the like, but to me, the team looked like it was having fun. It was playing aggressively. It was going for it. And we easily could have scored in that first half. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's not going to be easy. But, the great John F. Kennedy statement, why man goes to the moon? Not because it's easy, but because it's hard. Those things that you do that are hard, that you accomplish, those are the things that you remember when it's all over. Not that you went out and did what everybody expected you to do.
And the other thing was about the players as well. You said the players need to perform at the level expected of a Championship League player and, to have a successful career. You say you want everyone in the squad to stay, but the performance and the results matter, no excuses. I mean, that is very squarely saying to the players, look, if you want to stay in the Championship, you want to stay at Wycombe Wanderers, it's down to you. You're giving them their own responsibility for their destiny?
Absolutely. Look, I want them all. I love our players. We have a tremendous group of players. And the new guys that have come in have fit into the culture well. But they're all being paid as professionals in the championship. If they wanted to earn wages commensurate with League One, they could have played there. But they don't need that. They can be here. They all have the talent. And look, tough times are ahead. But we're going to play through it, and we're going to be fighting, and we're going to be, at the end of the day, shocking people one more time.
Now, the other interesting thing, you've told the media team, no more Little Wycombe, no more sort of touristing around the Championship. That's fine. They're the club's employees. You're the chairman. A lot of the Wycombe fans have been a bit like, well, we still want to kind of do that and enjoy our time in the Championship regardless of the results. Do you understand where they're coming from? Maybe the Wycombe fans that saw Wycombe lose to the Metropolitan Police in the 80s and get knocked out of the club.
Yeah, but I'm so sick of hearing that, Bill. I didn't know Wycombe was at the time, I keep going back to that day, and I don't know if you recall it, when we were in that forum, and somebody asked me where I expected to be, and I said the Championship, and there were people who didn't guffaw. They were like, I don't know if we want to do that, almost afraid. I don't have time for that. I came to do something that had not been done before. To run a team on a financially stable basis and make progress and play in the championship. That's what we're going to do.
And Rob, so your rallying call to the fans then, you want them to say, look, we're not Little Wycombe anymore. We're here to make a go of this.
Yeah, but look, they're fans. They pay their money. They take their chances, and they can say whatever they want. But if they want to support this team, they have to start taking pride in authorship of a championship team. They can't look around because that permeates the atmosphere. That's why I asked the media team, let's get past it. Let's recognize ourselves. We were the only team going around talking like that. I looked around at what other media people do. Nobody else was saying, ooh, wow, we're going to be at such and such stadium. Isn't that cool? No, we're going to be there, and goddamn it, they ought to be a little nervous about us.
Well, fighting talk, Rob. And while I've got you on the line, I must ask you about the decision that came last week as well from the EFL. They're going back on their decision on squad sizes and salary caps for the leagues.
Yeah.
What's your view on that?
Well, as you may recall, I was, if not an author, I was a very heavy participant in creating the cost controls that we put into place. I was disappointed in the decision. I am hopeful that the league and the league members and the Players Association will understand just how close the finances are for most of the clubs, and that they're not going to force a couple of clubs out of business just to prove a point. Because then you'll have less players earning real wages. And that's not what the Professional Football Association should be doing. They should be assisting all the players. And I'm a big believer that these cost controls will assist the players ultimately.
Did the decision come as a shock to you, Rob? Because obviously Jordan Abita was signed and in the window, which, you know, a player that had only been at Oxford for a handful of games, really. Did it come as a shock to you, or did you think it was something that could well happen?
No, I will be honest. It came as a complete shock to me. A, the timing, and B, I didn't realize it was a close call.
And in terms of the contract extensions that have been handed out to Wycombe players as well, I'm guessing that they're structured regardless of regarding what league Wycombe will be in next season. If the Great Escape happens, then fantastic. If not, then they'll be on their contracts will reflect what division Wycombe are in next season.
Every contract is unique, and all I can say about that is Pete and Andrew and I have set up a system where we're able to compete financially whatever league we're in.
Right, that's your lot for this week's show. Many thanks to Rob Couhig for his time. As Uri mentioned earlier in the show, Ringing the Blues has been nominated for Club Podcast of the Year at the Football Supporters Association Awards. I'll post a link on my Twitter, @BluntPhil. If you can click on that and give us a vote, it'll be much appreciated. We haven't got much chance, but in the spirit of Rob Couhig, I fully expect to win it. Come on, you Blues.